Trevor Montague Graham Hole, born at East Vale in Victoria in the 19th of August 1933. So in all, our family consisted of myself, 4 brothers and 5 sisters. That was before the 1933 depression. I think it was 1933, yeah. He was buying a house down there, paying sixpence a month to buy it. At that time, when I was born in East Vale, I had 3 brothers and about 4 sisters. 3 sisters, born in England. Before the First World War, Dad came out here on a sailing ship on his own, landed at Perth and was here for a couple of years. Then war broke out in 1914. He enlisted, went back to England, where he was in the military there for a while. He got to meet his wife, Gertrude, and he was a naughty boy because he went AWL to be with her. They caught up with him, and I don't know what penance they gave him, but he would have got something, I'm sure. But he got married then, they both married, and he brought her back to Perth, to Australia. I don't know what date it was, but they came back in a sailing boat anyway. Lived in Perth for a while, then moved into Victoria. For what reason, I don't know. I think he was just travelling, decided to go the other side. The eldest was Kenneth. Second was Ronald. Then another brother, Keith. Then me. Then Alec. Okay. That was four brothers. Sisters, I had 5 sisters. The eldest was Phyllis, then Alma, then Sonia, then Margaret, then Beverly. She used to ride a horse. So exactly what he did, he wouldn't tell us. He was over in Egypt, he said at one stage. Did say that. And he was left-handed, my dad. And one of the people came up to him and said, "What are you filing here? You're not filing it properly." And Dad said, "I'm filing it right." He said, "No, you're not. Give him the file." He took it off, he went this way. Left, I said. They said, "I'm left-handed." "All right." "Oh, carry on." So didn't miss a trick, you know. He worked at the aircraft factories during the war, working in the factory itself, riveting parts of the aircraft and doing that sort of work.
How did your family come to live in Australia?
Yeah, that's a question I never knew asked. Don't know. Dad was born in Portsmouth, at the, not far from the shipping area. I do remember him telling me that he used to go down to the dock and look at the boats, the sailing ships, when he was a little nipper. And he couldn't resist the urge to get on one day. And the captain said, "We can make it. Do you want to go to Ireland? We can make a cabin boy." Oh, he jumped at that. He said, never told anyone. He said, "Yeah, I'm ready. When you're going?" Off he went. Went to Ireland with the on the boat. Came back. The boat was docking, and he looked over the side down the dock, and there was Dad standing there with his arms crossed, staring at him. He said he kicked me in the bum all the way home. He said, "I never got on that boat again." So whether he had an attraction for sailing boats, I don't know. But he came out in one anyway. Although Pop never told us much, you know, pretty close-lipped. He wouldn't tell us anything about the war that he was in. Didn't know anything about that. He was an engineer by trade, but he used to work at a bench in a factory. And he told me once a story about him. He had he was working at a bench. This was during the Depression. He got this job. They had a walk around up the top of the building, and the manager and other people used to walk around, watch people working. And my dad, Les, put down a bit of cotton waste he had, got out his tobacco tin, rolled tobacco, put it in his mouth and lit it. The manager or one of them there saw him, came down and said, "Les, you haven't got time to roll your own, do it at home, or don't smoke at all. I don't want to see that again." Down underneath the Vale when we left there, I believe, he had a dog that drowned, was on the chain, couldn't get off. And yeah, it's a bad time. And then of course, before we moved to Box Hill, there was the Depression. And he used to go up the bush, do work up the bush and the farmers, etc., to try and get money to keep the family going. Pretty hard times, I believe. There was a big change in the tide, at a high tide, and we had a lot of rain, and the house got flooded about halfway up the ceiling, halfway up the walls. Dad couldn't afford to rent. He couldn't afford to get the house fixed. So he gave up. Then he said, "I'm not ever going to buy a house again." And we then moved to Box Hill. Beverly was the youngest and the last born. She's still alive, lives at Perugian Beach. Lovely home down there, up there by the golf course. So doesn't play golf, but happens just to live there. Nice home. So we had two boys and a girl. We didn't want it anymore. We thought that's a handful for us. Pat wanted a girl, so she had a daughter. I had two boys that I used to wonder about. But yeah, the reason there was a big difference between the ages was when our firstborn, Stephen, they had to do a cesarean on Pat, and the doctors at the time said, "Oh, you shouldn't have any more children for at least 4 years." So we thought, "Oh well, we'll wait 4 years." 4 years and 1 day later, Jeffrey turned up, and he had a cesarean on Jeffrey too. We asked about cesareans at the again. They said, "Oh, that's an old wives' tale. You could have another child tomorrow," you know. So Sam came along about 12 months later. Anyway, when we moved to Box Hill, Cloder Avenue, Box Hill, I can still see the street now, and the fence, brick fence with little piers, and I remember them distinctly because one of my sisters, my younger sister, fell off them, broke her arm. Of course, I was laughing, wasn't funny to her, but I shouldn't have laughed anyway, because a bit later on there was an incident. I had a scooter, was riding down the guttering, the curbing, and somebody got on the back with me. I was in the front, holding on. They were behind me. We hit a stone on the... I knocked my teeth out in the front. Knocked about 3 teeth out. Mum was just going out at the time when I come home. She almost had a fit. Bit blank after that, what happened. I would expect I went to the dentist or somewhere and got a whack for doing it as well. Oh, the eldest is Jeffrey. The eldest is Stephen. Stephen, Jeff and Samantha. Jeffrey came along and he was born, he was born at the, where was he born? I know he was born. Jeffrey came along, and then later on Samantha. We didn't go around smacking them, although I must confess once Jeffrey was asked to do something and he refused to, and Mum, Pat said to him, if you don't do what you're asking, I'm going to get Dad to give you a smack. And he said, I'm not doing it. I said, Jeffrey, please do it, you know. I don't want to smack him. He said, I'm not doing it. I said, Mum wants you to do it. It was a standoff. I thought, oh, I don't want to smack him. But I hit him on the bum, hurt him more than hurt. He hurt me more than hurt him. He consented to do what he was asked, but that's the only time I ever hit one of the kids. Didn't like it. Steve was born at the Kew Hospital. There was a hospital in Cotham Road, Kew. He was born there because we lived in Hawthorne in Glenferrie Road, off Glenferrie Road, in Glen Street. There was a bloke that used to play xylophones, Lionel Hampton. We saw him. Didn't see the Beatles. Written music like the Beatles. They were big at the time when I was working. I could hear their voices all over the place. Every house had the music going. You'd go around there and the Beatles would be screaming out. You have to yell out to the person to turn the bloody noise down. That was the day then, because we used to give all our money to Mum. Because, you know, we weren't a wealthy family. That was my first job. And then my second job was one and only plumbing. Oh yeah. Dad got me a job down at... Dad said, you want to have a good job, you know, you want to have something behind you. One bloke was a mad Hawthorne supporter. He had a good business in Hawthorne, and he said to me one day, are you busy? And I said, always looking for work. He said, I can give you a job down at Albert Park, the Albert Cricket Ground. We're renovating the pavilion, the toilets, kitchen, etc. He said, you want to go down there for 2 or 3 weeks? I said, righto, how much am I going to get? He said, oh, I'll give you £8 a day. No, here. Oh no, I'll give you £40 a week. I was at school at Swinburne, went to Swinburne College for 3 years. And when I left there, it was Christmas time. I took a job with manufacturing radios down at South Melbourne. Were they Radiola? I used to put parts in the chassis. What we used to do, they used to have a chassis line starting at the back with the bare chassis, and they had a bench that went right down to the end where the testers used to sit, testers units. We alternated at different pots down the bench. The chassis was given to me, and I had 3 components to put in it, solder in, pass it on to the next person. They had 3 components to put in. It went down the line like that and was built. So when it went finished up as a radio at the end. So I said, yeah, I'll be in that. So I went down there for 2 or 3 weeks. And I used to have my tea down there. The cricketers, during the cricket season, country times, the cricketers would come in for tea about 4 o'clock. We'd be knocking off after about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And of course, they never ate much. They used to have huge spreads of food, and they'd come in and buy a biscuit or a cup of tea and a sandwich. There'd be all this food everywhere. So they said that you can help yourself to it, you fellas, if you want to take anything. So I used to stay there and I'd have sandwiches and party pie or something, a couple of drinks of lemonade. And I'd go home. I don't want tea today. Tea tonight, Mum. I just had it. So that went on for about 3 or 4 weeks. Got me a job down there I was going to be an apprentice plumber. Well, I was there for about 3 months. I couldn't see any future in it. So I'm not going to learn to be a plumber. Being here, soldering up holes in buckets and wandering around fixing toilets or cleaning toilets or feeding a flashometer, which was a valve operated handle with the flash pipe on it. They used to lay up, you had to pull the tops off them and clean them. And I thought after 3 months, I'm getting nowhere here. Out at Brunswick, working for a company. They used to build post offices and different government contracts. I worked for them for a while and I didn't like it there after a while. So I went out on my own. And I got £300, which was my stake. I'd saved up £300, which was to keep me going while I sort of tried to make contact with people. I had a couple of jobs to do, so I battled on there for a while and worked alone, had a few blokes. I applied for a job down in Burnley, Richmond, Madden Grove. I got a job with people there, E.H. Tamlin and Company. He was in partnership with 2 other people. I went down there as an apprentice and spent 5 years there. And when I left there, I said, not making much money working for someone, I'll start working. Oh, stand corrected. I did take another job after that. We used to pre-bend some of the wiring so that we weren't holding up the line of production. We used to pre-bend them and had a soldering iron, etc. And they come round to us, drop it in there and solder it up, tack it. Okay, off to you. I did that over the school holidays to get some money. But What I did with the money, I haven't got a clue. I sort of gave it to Mum. I used to like playing with the radios, and I know I got one from somewhere, and bloody old thing it was just a chassis with the valves in it, had no case around it. I used to have it in the bedroom when we lived at Water Road in Hawthorne. We were living in a time where the toy to us was paper football or tennis ball, if you get one. Had no favourite gifts as I can remember. We then put the deposit down on a house in a block of land in Nunawading. There was estates being built around there at the time, so there was a few blocks available. We bought a block on a corner in Jollymont Road, Inglewood Avenue.
What music do you like to listen to, if any?
I'll listen to any, really. If I'm in the mood, I'll listen to classical, I'll listen to jazz, rock and roll.
What's your favourite colour?
Brown and gold.
There you go.
We kept seeing each other. Got worse and worse. Yeah. Used to go to the dances and go out. She worked at the university with her dad. I used to sometimes I'd pick her up at night and we'd go to a little place in Carlton, have some spaghetti sauce or something and a glass of wine or something. Only one. We were never drinkers at that time. That came later. And I got booked going through through one of the towns. Got booked for doing over 60. I didn't think the old girl would do any faster. Anyway, cops nabbed us, so that was the highlight of the trip up there. We went to Surfers Paradise back in the 50s. There was nothing there. There was one skyscraper, one tall building, paddocks, empty paddocks, bright coloured wooden houses, yellow, green, pink, all colours. We drove up there I had a Ford Zephyr ute that I was using for work. And when we got married, we drove up there in it. She's a person she loves everybody. I don't know, I just attracted to her. I think light poles attract. No, don't they?
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know, we just seemed to couple up.
Yep.
We enjoyed each other's company. I just took it as was a way of life of going through life. It was not a system, but everybody got married, and I was no exception. I was getting on in years. I was in my 20s, and I thought all the boys used to chase the girls. I wasn't a girl chaser by any means, very shy. I thought, how am I going to meet a girl? I better find out how to meet girls. Dancers, of course. I wasn't a very good dancer, but I could struggle around the floor. Started going to dances. I went to Hawthorne Town Hall. I used to go to Heidelberg and Hawthorne. used to go, they had one out at the other side of the city. There was another one in the city somewhere. Anyway, my main spots were Heidelberg and Hawthorn. As destiny would be, I'm at Hawthorn this night, Saturday night, gazing around, looking at the talent. And I see this Sheila standing over there, and she was taller than the girls around her. I sort of looked at her. I'm going to ask her for a dance. That was the beginning of the end. We got married at a church in Kew. Neither of us were real churchgoers, although I had been when I was a lad, I was sent to the Presbyterian school in Hawthorn, Presbyterian church, Sunday school. I think everybody was at that time. But other than that, I never had any big connections with the church. I asked her dad first, asked her father. We were good mates. He was a good fella. Her family was a great family. And her mum and dad were good people. And I got on really well with them. I asked her dad, can I marry your daughter? And he said, oh, she's a bit young yet. And I said, I really don't know how old she is. She's never told me. And I said, he said, she's a bit young to get married yet. I'll have to wait 2 or 3 years. I thought, well, that means she's not 21. She's about 16 or 17. I was about 23 at the time. So I thought, doesn't matter anyway. Age is no barrier. So we decided on this one at Kew because my sister had been married there sometimes prior, and we liked the church and we liked the minister. So we went there and asked him, would he marry us? And he said, you don't come to our church? I said, no, I don't. He said, well, why are you coming here to ask me? And I said, because we've been to your church for wedding ceremonies. We've enjoyed them. We like you. And we'd like to be married in your church because it's a great place to be married. I said, fair enough. At the time, I was very jealous with other blokes. And, I wasn't to the point of being, outgoing, but inside I was a bit jealous, which I suppose was natural because I liked her so much.